Welcome to the JoinTheTrades.com interview series, where we talk to tradespeople and learn more about successful career paths straight from the source. Today, my guest is Cody Vaughan, a master electrician and company owner with 15 years experience in the trade. Cody, how you doing, brother?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
I'm great, man. Thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, not a problem.
Okay, so it sounds like you've been pretty successful in your career up to now. How'd you get started?
Yeah, for me, it was kind of the family trade, just following in the family's footsteps, working for a big company, and then after the years of doing that, we saw the need of wanting to branch out and do our own thing. So I got my master electrical license, and we jumped ship and did our own thing. So me and the old man, me and my dad. So.
Oh, that's nice.
Mm-hmm.
So what kind of process is it for you to get your master electrician?
So for me, it was just 4 years of in the field training, and that 4 years I had to hold an apprentice license. After that 4 years was up, I applied to take my journeyman's test.
Okay.
Then I took my journeyman's test, passed it, and then I had to hold my journeyman's license for an additional 2 years. And then at that point, then I could apply to take my master's license. And so, yeah, wasn't long after that. That was kind of the whole game plan, is for us, for me to get my master's license and then branch out and start out from there. So that's what we did, just me and my dad starting out and growing from there.
Oh, that's cool, man. So you guys really started at the beginning and then have built up quite the establishment since then.
Yeah. That's not much smaller than that you can go than with two people. So
right.
Yeah, we started, and we still got a long way to go, but just part of the journey.
So your goal is to keep on growing as time goes on?
Yeah, absolutely.
Why not?
Yeah. There's a void to fill. We're going to keep filling it until, there's no end in sight.
Yeah, you mentioned that the more and more of these I do, and the more and more tradespeople I talk to, kind of across the boards, everyone is making it clear that there is this skilled labor gap that we're trying to address. That's what JoinTheTrades.com obviously is trying to address in general. But it seems like it's been an issue, and we need to educate as many people as possible about the possibilities.
Yeah, I think education is key there. There's a lot of people. I was lucky enough to have family in the trade.
Right.
But, there's a lot of qualified people out there that have no idea where to start, what to get out of it, what they need to put into it to be successful. So yeah, I think this is awesome.
So when you get your journeyman's license, where do you go to do that? Where would you go to not only learn how to do it, but do you have to pay to do it? Is there a cost to do it? What's the procedure?
Kind of depends. If you're already employed, most employers will pay your, any prep courses. What I do is, I'll pay for a prep course to prepare you for your test, and then from there, I'll pay for the testing. I think if I remember correctly, I could be wrong, but I think here in Texas the test is, I think, $75. I could be wrong. I don't really keep up with it. I just tell them we'll pay for it.
Okay.
And then kind of the same thing with the prep course. Same thing. I think it's super beneficial to do the prep courses that they have locally. They have one here locally that an organization has here. That's real beneficial. But other than that, I mean, yeah, we just get online with your state agency, fill out the application, send in all the forms. They approve it. Once it's approved, then you have to pay the fee and sign up for the test. I mean, it's super simple. It's just that experience or that schooling you have to take up to that point, and it can be lengthy.
Sure. And you learn most of what you need to know from a mentor, generally, and you become an apprentice of sorts.
Yeah, I mean, that's how I did it. Just all in the field training, and then I took a 6-week prep course just to kind of fill in those blanks, because with us, we're mostly commercial. The test tends to be, at least in here in Texas, it's pretty, at the time that I took it, it was pretty half and half on like residential and commercial questions. So that's the main reason I took a prep course, is try to fill in those, those gray areas I wasn't too sure about on the residential side. And so, yeah.
Cool. So what are the differences then between commercial and residential, besides the obvious ones?
Good question. I mean, it's just the materials. All the materials are different. Commercial builds tend to be, all metal wall boxes.
Okay.
Metal sheathing around the wire, metal fittings. Everything's metal. Versus in the residential side, you have plastic wall boxes. Different styles of wiring, or different types of wiring, stuff like that. So yeah, just the materials are different. A lot of codes are different. I mean, in commercial buildings, what's going inside of commercial buildings is way different than a home.
Sure.
And the people within a home versus commercial buildings are way different. So they take into account all those things like kiddos and stuff like that. So the codes are different, materials are different, and so it doesn't really. I mean, if you focus in on the commercial side of things, like I did, there's a whole other side to it, that just kind of a whole different ball game. So.
And is there a specific advantage to going into commercial versus residential, or it's just kind of a different thing?
Yeah, I mean, to me, I guess it depends on who you ask.
Sure.
But like with me,
in your personal experience.
Yeah, and I always preferred commercial. In my opinion, there's just more professionalism there, and who you're dealing with. Your commercial clients tend to have a better understanding of construction, and so
okay.
They have a better understanding of what needs to be done and how it needs to be done. Versus residential side, your typical homeowner has no idea of construction. So yeah, I prefer the commercial side, but I mean, there's plenty of drawback to it. As a business owner, anyways, there's drawback to it. It's harder to get into. And,
okay.
You have less of a market. But
sure.
In my opinion, the market's better. So yeah, I prefer commercial.
Okay, so you have your own company. How many guys do you have under you, or girls?
Yeah, both. We got just 5 now. I was only 6, counting me. So.
Cool. And how often are you actually doing wiring at this point, or are you just kind of organizing your team?
Yeah, no, I hardly ever do anymore at all. I might if there's an emergency situation, and if I'm the best one available, I'm not opposed to it. I'm not above it. I enjoy it a lot more than being here behind a computer.
Sure.
But yeah, I hardly ever have the chance to touch my tools.
All right. Well, walk me through what a day would be when you used to be a regular technician.
Yeah, I mean, generally, we have our, at least 2 to 6 weeks kind of planned out already, and so that the day before, the week before, I mean, you're already knowing what you're going to be doing the next day. You already have that game plan kind of set up. So generally, the day before, we already have our materials and stuff loaded up. So get there in the morning. Here we have service trucks, so we get in the service truck, head out, and just kind of tackle the day. Generally for us, we have a service call that generally lasts a day or several days.
Okay.
Kind of so we'll be on a job for several days there until we finish. And our days are usually typically 8 to 10 hour days. And so nothing too crazy. It just really depends on the situation on each day there. But yeah, it's pretty laid back days as far as that goes. No crazy hours. Other than that, I mean, it's a pretty. I mean, it changes daily, which is nice. But at the same time, I mean, you know what to expect. It's not a surprise each morning. So.
Right. No major curveballs thrown at you.
Yeah, I mean, there's little ones throughout the day that happen, but yeah, no major curveballs.
All right, so the benefits seem pretty good. You've obviously done very well for yourself monetarily, I imagine, and your employees get paid pretty well.
Yeah. I mean, I say so, and they think so as well. I mean, they've always checking with the guys, make sure they're happy. Everyone always seems happy, and so I try to make sure that everyone's fairly treated. So.
Cool. So it's a pretty lucrative field for people to get into. And as far as job security, I assume these jobs are not going anywhere anytime soon.
Yeah, no, I mean, especially in the commercial field. I mean, I've never experienced anything like it, or known of anything like it. We might have a day or two, that's slow here and there, maybe
Sure.
once every 2 or 3 months. We might have a couple days. Slowest I ever saw it was during COVID, and I mean, just because everything shut down, and especially our commercial buildings. But still, even that, I mean, I think it was just like 2 weeks of kind of a lull, and the whole nation was shut down, and we just experienced a quick little lull. We got the shop cleaned up, trucks cleaned up, and went back to work after the trucks and the shop was cleaned up. So
Right.
it's a much needed break.
Sure. Yeah, an opportunity to kind of dot the I's and cross the T's, right?
Yeah. So I mean, it's been super consistent. It comes in waves of either being normal, or we're busy, or super busy, I should say. So yeah, I've really been surprised about that. From the early on stages of starting the business, it's one of your main worries is what am I going to do if I don't have any work for a while.
Sure.
But that
Sure.
hasn't happened yet. I'm still waiting for that to happen.
Yeah, these are good problems to have, brother.
Yeah.
That's excellent, man. So, are there any drawbacks? Would you say there's anything that, kind of sticks in your craw that's a drag?
I mean, not for me. There's aspects to it where you have to work outside when it's hot or when it's cold.
Right.
I don't mind that. Just kind of depends on your personality, I guess. Yeah, I mean it's really the only thing that comes to mind is I mean you can work in the weather, so those could be drawbacks. But I mean, I've had to work when it's pouring down rain outside just to get the job done, and I just laugh at it. Just part of it sometimes.
So when you're working on a commercial building, you're doing the entire interior and exterior, or do you concentrate on one or the other?
So we normally just do just either service calls or remodels. So generally, all of our stuff is, in a building. We'll do some exterior lighting.
Okay.
Additions and repairs and stuff like that. Even to like sports fields, sports lighting, stuff like that. And so, we don't do ground up stuff. So yeah, like I said, ours is service calls, service repairs or additions or remodels, stuff like that.
Right. You personally, and not only you personally, but other people you've talked to in the trade, other people that are your employees, is there anything that is notable that is a specific rewarding part of the gig?
Yeah, I mean, obviously money's the main driver there.
Sure.
That's the main magnet for people looking, originally looking into the trade, but then, once they get into it, I think the guys realize how, laid back and fun it can be. We try not to get too serious on the job and stuff like that. I mean, like I said, it's super laid back, and if you work for a good company with a good atmosphere, it makes it enjoyable to come into, and and it makes it an enjoyable day, not something you wake up and your first thought, I got to go to work. But when there's people there that you enjoy talking to and hanging out with, and then if you have to work a little bit, and work a little bit. So.
Yeah, brother. I mean, that's about as rewarding it gets, Have a group of people you enjoy being with, and, in the meantime, get paid well. It sounds like a pretty good situation.
Yeah, and I mean, work, for people like me that enjoy working with their hands and seeing that finished result, it makes it really enjoyable coming back each day to do something like that and seeing that final product. And, again, if it's enjoyable throughout the day leading up to it, I mean,
even better.
It's hard to find any negatives.
So you obviously are sometimes hiring people for your company specifically. What kind of person is best suited for this? What kind of person do you find that's the type of personality I'm looking for?
Yeah, for me, it's someone that can, is well organized. That can be, physically, with organization, or just mentally, someone who's good at taking notes. We always, we keep shirts with shirt pockets there to have daily notes. And so, other than that, just someone who likes working with their hands is,
sure.
That's probably the main thing there. Someone who likes seeing that finished product of something they built. That's why I got into it.
So that's a big satisfying aspect in the sense that if you kind of like to, take things apart or find out how things work, that's something that is going to be useful, to say the least, huh?
Yeah, having that mechanical mindset is, in my opinion, is pretty crucial. Because, I've had hardworking people work for me that, they didn't have that mechanical mindset, so that it just didn't work out.
Sure.
Because they didn't have that skill set there. So, other than that,
and you feel that can be developed, or it's got to kind of be built into somebody, you think?
It can be developed if that's something you want to develop.
Sure.
Or something that that needs to be developed. There has to be that awareness there of, maybe I'm not as mechanically mindful as I thought I was. but
Right.
but yeah, I mean, it could definitely, you could definitely be trained, and you definitely could develop that. I don't see why not.
So it's mostly about just the dedication and the desire to figure it out, and if you work hard enough, you can usually do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool, man. Cool. So if there's anyone out there that's interested in like how to get started in this field, what would you suggest?
Um, I mean, first, get on jointhetrades.com, check it out, see if they got,
Bing.
and then
Bingo.
no, and then other than that, if it's something they really want to do, look at hiring companies, see what they got, and then I mean, just Google your local trades companies, just to see. I mean, an interview doesn't cost anything. You can get it going there and pick their brain. Yeah, I mean, I would love for people just to call that were interested. I don't mind talking, seeing if it's a good fit, and taking it from there. And so it's hard to get that. It's hard to replace that, one-on-one information with someone. So.
Yeah, it's awesome that you have your company has a profile with us, and you're members of jointhetrades.com. So, ideally, people can track you down if they'd like to. But why don't you give a shout out to your company and what you may be looking for?
Yeah, I mean, we're Cody Vaughan Electric. We do commercial electrical, doing service and remodels. And I would say, what we're looking for right now, mainly licensed journeyman electricians, and we will consider apprentices depending on their skill level. And so, other than that, they can either find us on jointhetrades.com. We have a profile there, or just codyvaughnelectric.com.
Awesome, man. Cody, thanks so much for being here, brother. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
Not that I can think of. I think we're good.
Awesome, man. We appreciate you stopping by.
Yeah, no problem.
Thanks, everyone. Stop by next time on jointhetrades.com.